All right, so warm up today, we've got the what I call the sort of general transformation equation. So this is the one that we put in our notes, and it looks complicated, but it just sort of gives you all the possible things that can happen in any equation. So we're going down the line here. It says, what does the plus or minus do to the graph? Basically, if it's positive, it's going to keep its regular shape. It's going to be facing the way you would expect. You know, if it's absolute value, it's going to be facing a V facing up. But if it's negative, that's going to cause the shape to reflect. So we'll say it's going to cause it to reflect over the x-axis. So maybe just make a little note that it's the negative that'll do that. So if you have a negative, it's going to reflect over the x-axis. A little better. There we go. Okay. Then it says, what does the a do? So the a value is, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a slope or a rate of a change. But the real word we use for it is we call it the scale factor. And that's going to cause it to either stretch or compress. So we're going to say it's going to cause a stretch anytime that a is above 1. So if your a is like 2 or 4 or 100, that's going to cause it to be stretched vertically. It's going to be a lot steeper graph. And then you're going to get a compression anytime it's below 1. So that'd be, in other words, anything between 0 and 1. That'd be like your half, third, and eighth, 7/9, something like that. Those are going to cause the graph to increase more slowly, so it's going to become a wider or compressed looking graph. Then you got your h value. This is the one that goes directly to the x. Anytime you do something directly to the x like this, before the function takes effect, that's going to cause it to shift left or right. So you can call it shift, you can call it translate, left or right. And then the k value, that's the one that happens at the very end, on the outside of the function. That causes it to shift or translate up or down. So again, same concept, just the up or down. So I'll say translate up or down. And where you should be right now is when you see an equation, you should be able to just look at an equation. You should be able to list, okay, what are all the things it's going to do? So if I were just to kind of throw an example together here, like let's say I said something like, if you had y equals negative, let's say 7, x plus 1 quantity squared minus 4. You should be able to look at something like that and describe exactly what that graph's going to look like. So from this, we'd look at it and we'd say, okay, that's going to be reflected, meaning since it's a U-shaped graph, that's what the x squared tells us. Instead of the U facing upward, the U is going to face downward because of the negative. The 7 means it's going to be 7 times as steep, so it's going to be a much narrower graph. Vertex is also going to be shifted left 1 and down 4. So, I can make a pretty quick little sketch of this graph. If I know it's going to be left 1 and down 4, left 1, down 4. So my vertex is going to be located right about there. And then I know it's going to be a downward facing V, and because it's a 7, it's going to be considerably steeper than our normal graph. So I could make a real simple sketch just like that, just from looking at the equation. Now we could make a more accurate one if we had a real grid and could plot points, but again, I'm just kind of talking conceptually. This is what you should know from when you look at that. All right. Any questions with anything with that?